10,
9, 8, 7,
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and open rolls.
Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS 7 First Alert News at 10.
We're up.
Good evening, this is CBS 7 News at 10, Weekend Edition. I'm Celeste
Bump
Gassner.
to 2.
We begin with tracking crime. Police have issued a warrant in connection to the fatal crash that happened at the intersection of University and Oakwood.
Full springs up.
This is the suspect, 37-year-old Benjamin Meese, and he's wanted for failing to stop and render aid. According to police, Meese was driving the Dodge Challenger that was traveling east on University and collided with the Honda Accord that was turning onto Oakwood. Officers report Meese made no attempt to help the driver and ran from the scene on foot, but was later caught by officers. The driver of the Honda was ejected and died on the scene. Their identity will be released once they've been positively ID'd.
And you're up.
Meese is currently at MCH and will be arrested after he's released from the hospital. This does remain an ongoing investigation.
Still on 2.
And we have an update for you. The water has been turned back on for most homes near Wadley Avenue and Ward Street in Midland, but some are still without it.
Goes up.
According to the city, the water was turned off at midnight so a welder could fix the pipe after a water main break on Friday. The city reported that the water was supposed to be back on around 10 o'clock this morning, but the repairs took longer than expected and many Midlanders were without water and some still are. Homes that are impacted by this can be seen on your screen right now. According to the city, there are still about 20 valves that need to be turned on at this time. Technicians are waiting for the weather to clear up before they turn on the remaining ones. City officials said there should be no more water interruptions after this.
Bump to 4.
FEMA assistance is now available for homeowners and renters in Carroll County. This comes after last week's tornado that left severe damage in its wake. What you're looking at is video of the town of Sanderson and people trying to clean up the destruction. Eligible people may qualify for basic home repairs, personal property losses, and other storm-related damage assistance. The deadline to apply is July 16th.
Bump to 4.
The Cub Scouts of America hosted a range and target sports event at Crestview Baptist Church in Midland. CBS 7's Armando Gomez was at the shooting range and he joins us with the details. Armando?
And Q Armando.
Well, today is Cub Scout
Back and
shooting
forth.
day for these young kids. The goal of this event is to show them how important it is to be safe when using an armory, and also a day for them to have fun. On a hot summer day, kids were able to have a fun day filled with slingshots, archery, and BB guns.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited. I got to shoot a little clay ball over there at the slingshot.
Kids rotated each station to learn how to use a slingshot, BB guns, and archery safely. For some kids, this activity was new for them.
Really cool to be out here and do all these shooting sports and all this, to be outdoors and and shoot and stuff.
The main purpose of the event is for kids to learn the importance of safety when using an armory. This is a requirement for Cub Scouts to know before they advance to the Boy Scouts level.
They need to learn the safety, the fundamentals, and how to properly use each firearm system. When they get in the Boy Scouts, which is 6th grade through 12th grade, they'll be using higher power firearms.
This event helps the kids to be the best they can be with themselves.
It's pushing boundaries. Kids might have never thought about using these instruments before, and it might push their boundaries and doing something that might not have thought, like, hey, I might not have been interested in, BB guns, but now, hey, this is something that's interesting.
The organizers want to have more events like this. Reporting in Midland for CBS 7 First Alert News, I'm Armando Gomez.
And you're up.
And with all the outdoor activities that took place this weekend, remember that safety is an important part of having fun at these events. It's the beginning of the summer and it's only going to get hotter from here the next couple of months. Registered nurses say hydration is the best way to beat the heat.
Sot roll.
You really want to make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Sometimes people are taking medications that may be causing them dehydration. And again, enjoying a good soccer game, you might be wanting to enjoy a couple alcoholic drinks. That actually causes more dehydration. So you really want to make sure that you're drinking plenty of fluids.
And cue.
If you plan to go outside, make sure to pack a cooler with plenty of water and ice packs.
Split sub.
Now, Sawyer, we saw a much different story here today in the Permian Basin. It was still hot, but we did have a little bit of clouds and stormy weather today. What can we expect to go into in our work week?
Yeah, we saw some hot conditions today, but also a little bit cooler conditions because we did have a cold front roll through the area, and we are still seeing some storms ongoing this evening. Here's a look at live radar. We do kind of a little bit of a zoom into the area. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that continues until 10:30 for Crane and Upton counties. For Crane, this is for hail up to 1 inch diameter and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Then we also have a flash flood warning continues until 12:15 a.m. for Andrews and Gaines counties because of ongoing rain across that area. Temperatures outside ranging from the 60s to the 90s out there with that front and also some rain-cooled air. 76 currently in Odessa, 74 in Midland. Still hanging on to a warm 87 in Saragossa, 93 in Presidio.
30 seconds.
Winds tonight anywhere from being calm to about 10-15 miles per hour, and we are seeing some gusts across the area with gusts anywhere from about 20 to 45 miles per hour. Strongest gusts in the Fort Stockton area. Through this evening, not going to see temperatures cooling down too much, but slightly cooler than we have been seeing the past couple of days. And once again, we do have isolated strong severe thunderstorms possible for tomorrow afternoon and evening for those areas shaded in green. As always, you can download the CBS 7 First Alert weather app to stay up to date with the latest weather conditions.
Celeste and cue Celeste.
Biden administration officials say new asylum restrictions have not yet curbed border crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border. Encounters at the southern border continue to average about 4,000 people a day. New asylum restrictions went into effect earlier this week, and senior administration officials say they do expect the number of crossings to drop. The new rules also allow them to more quickly remove migrants. The administration says they've conducted 17 deportation flights this week.
And VO's up.
And police in Texas arrested 7 people in an alleged human smuggling operation. Authorities found 26 immigrants on a rural property in Bexar County. 11 of them were hospitalized for heat-related and other non-life-threatening injuries. The discovery came after a neighbor tipped off police about suspicious activity. The sheriff thinks the smugglers were taking the immigrants from Laredo County to Bexar County, where they were held in a structure he described as a shack. It's not clear what counties the migrants came from. One of them was from Guatemala and paid $16,000 to get to the U.S.
Up to 4.
Do dogs talk? If you have one, you probably argue your loving companion speaks to you in a language only you understand. But now, a researcher at UT Arlington is trying to prove it by studying the language of your furry friend. Reporter Nicole Nielsen has more.
And package rolls.
If you've ever wondered what this means, we might be one step closer to finding out.
You can see that they all sound very similar, and they're used at about the same context.
Kenny Zhu is a professor of computer science at the University of Texas at Arlington, who is dedicated to uncoding the mystified language of man's best friend.
I've been fascinated by how intelligent they are, and I was always wonder whether they actually have language.
He's currently using machine learning to translate dog sounds in phonetic representations and eventually words. He showed me how it works.
Yeah. So you can listen to each and every one of the phonemes. So this spectrogram actually shows you the frequency and their strength.
By collecting barks from different sources and stripping away other noises, he then catalogs the sounds and segments them into pieces like syllables and assigns each a symbol similar to our alphabet. The project is legit and backed by a 3-year, $483,000 grant. He says the answers couldn't be more important to the future of understanding and communicating with all animals we coexist with.
It boils down to, facilitate better communication, better understanding between different species, and ultimately we just want to have a better world.
So far, he's transcribed about 10 hours worth of barks into meaning. He's found dogs in different parts of the world speak differently too.
Indeed, we are still in a very early stage of the research. There's going to be a lot of challenges.
Only the beginning of the discoveries to come.
Stand by.
In Arlington, Nicole Nielsen, CBS News, Texas.
And Q Celeste.
America's job market is hot right now. That's according to the Labor Department's monthly jobs report showing May blowing past Wall Street's expectations and hourly wages continuing to trend up. But as in almost all things related to the economy, there's a flip side. Laura Aguirre explains why an improving labor market could still ding your budget via interest rates.
Package rolls.
On the surface, the nation's workforce has a lot to celebrate Friday. The Labor Department reports the U.S. economy added 272,000 new jobs last month, soaring well past the estimate of many economists, and over 100,000 more than were added in April. Some employees may be feeling a slight uptick in their paychecks. Hourly pay inched up about 14 cents from April, or 0.4%, bringing the national average hourly wage to just under $35. Also looking closely at the May jobs report is the Federal Reserve.
There are paths that the economy could take, which would cause us to want to consider rate cuts.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell has signaled that one path is getting inflation down to 2%. But as of April, that rate was 3.4%, and May's rate comes out next week.
Another path could be, an unexpected weakening in the labor market, for example.
Friday's job report showed no such sign of a weakening, leaving many investors to forecast the Fed will hold interest rates steady until at least December. If you're looking for a new job, the Labor Department says education and health services, government, hospitality, construction, and retail are among the fastest growing sectors for opportunity. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And coming up, the presidential election is just around the corner, and the hopeful nominees are sounding off about their stance on marijuana. Next, how this could impact the polls come November.
Break and take break.